is Welch. For your Michigan State Spartans, Bettese.
Welcome back to Jennison Fieldhouse in East Lansing, Michigan, as we are about to start on the 165-pound weight class as Michigan State's Dean Bettese takes on number 5 ranked Chad Welch from Purdue.
Chad Welch coming off a loss at Penn State, actually getting pinned. So
you don't see that often.
No, not at all, and especially after getting pinned, still being ranked top 5 in the country, so.
And this also marks Welch's 120th career match.
It's a lot of matches, especially wrestling in the Big Ten here. Tough matches. So Bettese, Chad Welch looking for the gator roll mixer that we saw earlier in the match from Alex Griffin at 149 pounds, where he hit on Kalen Richards.
And in case you're just joining us, Purdue leads Michigan State 11-9.
11-9. Mitch Rogeliner at 125 picked up the win. 33 was Luke Welch of Purdue. 41, Javier Gasca of Michigan State with the big fall over Danny Sabatello. 49, Alex Griffin. 57, Doug Welch picked up the win for Purdue. So we're seeing another Welch. We've already seen 2 so far. The third and final Welch is up for these Purdue Boilermakers.
That must be exciting, being able to wrestle on the same team at this level with your brothers, especially your twin brother, as Chad is able to.
So now Bettese leads 2-1. So promising lead here for Bettese, and he cannot get complacent here. He has to push the pace, leading a top 5 guy. And this would change the whole outlook of a season. Knocking off a top 5 guy, that just shows what you're capable of, how you're able to wrestle at such a high level. And so far, Bettese is doing a good job here in the first period. So what I like to see here is the feet of the wrestlers here moving. Who's moving forward? This is what I always watch. Who's continuing to push the pace here? Who's moving forward? Who's moving backwards? And right now, both guys are doing equal work. And that's what you want to see, is guys pushing, pulling, moving, creating angles.
Really anything to get that takedown.
So Welch now doing a good job, in on a double leg, out of bounds, back to the center of the mat. And this brand new Michigan State mat. The first home duel being wrestled here on this brand new Michigan State mat, as Dean Bettese upper lip is cut.
Looks like he might have a bloody left nostril there.
Is that what it is?
I believe so, Eric.
Okay. Let's put a plug in it and get him back out there.
Let's get back to the wrestling.
So we got everybody, referees, table help, athletic trainers, all coming in.
Yeah, you never thought all for a nosebleed. Your typical nosebleed you would get when you were a child.
We have Purdue's athletic trainer, Michigan State's athletic trainer. Both referees looking for blood. So we head back to the center of the mat.
And you know, both wrestlers are itching to start up again. You never really want to stop in between something, especially in the middle of a period.
So we get the blood cleaned up, the mat dried off.
One more slick spot to clean on up. The mat is cleared and wrestling is ready to resume.
So Bettese needs to get a shot off here. 40 seconds left in this first period.
Both wrestlers have displayed some offense, as you mentioned earlier in the early comes of the period.
So Bettese with a right-handed high crotch to Welch's right leg. Little half shot. And Welch looking to load the gun and pull the trigger as he looked for a high crotch himself. Now has an underhook on that left side. Now switches to a collar tie, backs out.
And time runs out on the first period.
So Red's choice. So referee pointing to the towel tapper. So instead of the buzzer, because as we mentioned earlier, the meet going on with the gymnastics at the same time as the wrestling, it's hard to hear here in Jennison Fieldhouse. So what they're doing is using a towel tapper. Referee pointed to him and said, hey, you missed your job.
And for those joining us late, this is the first ever tumbles and takedowns, as there is a wrestling meet and a gymnastics meet going on side by side simultaneously.
So Bettese gets the takedown quick for Dean Bettese, and he leads Welch, number 5 in the country, 3-1. Riding time currently not a factor, sitting at 4 seconds. And now Welch in on a high crotch. Bettese looking to sit the corner. And in trouble is Dean Bettese, gives up the 2-point takedown. So that'll tie our match 3-3.
1:06 left in the second period.
So Bettese flat on the mat, getting hit for stalling. Referee saying you're clamming up. So now Bettese works to build a base. Looks to bring that left leg up to his hip. And this could potentially be a recipe for disaster if Dean Bettese is unable to get his hips off the mat. Welch doing a good job riding, and the referee stops the match again for blood time for Dean Bettese.
Dean Bettese was able to place 6 at the Michigan State Open, Eric. So it's a proud one to place at your own Open. As it looks like they're tending the mat for some more blood.
And Tom Minkle, 25th and final season for the Spartans, as this is his last season. Roger Chandler will be taking over at the helm of Michigan State after this season. So first year head coach for Roger Chandler. So back to action. Dean Bettese looks to sit out. Welch has that tight waist, and referee counting near fall there. So short time left here in this period as Dean Bettese has to fight down. Be aware of the clock, not to give up any points here. And that'll do it for the start, or excuse me, the end of the second period.
Eric, what does Bettese have to look for in this third period in order to come out victorious?
First, riding time currently sitting at 1:22, so the riding time is important. He has to get that riding time down, and as I say that, Welch gets the escape in on a high crotch, gives up the 2 for the takedown. So Welch still has that bottom leg bow and arrow situation, now switches to the right leg in. So Tyrell Todd telling Luke Welch, you need to continue to push the pace here.
And you start to think, Eric, does experience become an issue for Michigan State as we get higher with the weight classes? 4 of their 5 final weight classes from 165 to heavyweight include 4 underclassmen, with the only coming at Demetrius Renfro at heavyweight being a redshirt junior.
Yeah, that's why it was important for these Michigan State Spartans to pick up points early. Early in this duel, points were important, and now Dean Bettese, a potential fall for the Purdue Boilermakers, and Dean Bettese able to slip out of that half Nelson. Does get the 4 points for the near fall and has the major decision locked up. Stalemate called. Michigan State will head back in the bottom position.
Welch leads Bettese 12-4 left here in the third period.
And fatigue could potentially become, or fatigue is a factor at this point right now. You see Bettese slow to get back to the center of the mat. Welch covers heavy, gets a caution. So now Welch underhooks on both sides, looking to throw that left leg in as Bettese catches it, has that left toe.
And Welch still does control the major decision, being up 8 points.
So that'll do it here at 165 pounds. As Chad Welch, 5th in the country, gets the major decision